Oh, hello, and welcome to my universe. So, I said today I was going to design the mask, so I actually went and tried to gather a few ideas. And I'm just going to get kind of the general gist down, and then I'm going to go right back to the face. So, because yeah, I was looking here, I think the face still has a couple of issues that I want to resolve, but I figure that I should just get the general gist down. And what I think I'm gonna do with the mask here. As always, just jumping right into things, I'm trying to remember how I sorted my layers here, so I'm trying to find her hand. I do not actually remember where I put it. This is the sleeve, so it's probably around here. Okay, it's part of the body layer. Okay, cool. That works for me. I will... What are you? Okay, so that's the pattern. I didn't actually name the layer. I should do that. I'll call it sleeve lace. There we go. I will know exactly what that means. So I'll go ahead and put the mask above all of this, and then, when the time comes, I'll just go ahead and mask out the fingers that I want to be on top, and that should be fine. So, I think I'm gonna make it red. So I'll use the red there. I think that'll look pretty good on the face here, if I were to put it there. Naturally, it's going to be off. I guess this will be both literally and figuratively a mask-off moment. So, that's kind of half the point. And what I want to do... So we'll just plop it in there. I'm going to keep it kind of your standard half mask that mostly just covers the eyes and maybe a little bit of the nose. So it's going to kind of run across her cheeks like that. And it's going to leave the mouth exposed. And a large swath of her forehead as well. So it's going to have that kind of shape. I'll just go ahead and leave the entirety of the shape in there. Like I said, I will mask out the parts when the time comes, and I want it to be kind of sharp. That's the kind of shapes that I'm just going for with this design in general. Kinda sharp. Even in the areas that are supposed to be a little bit soft. They still have a bit of a sharpness to them. And then of kind of following the patterns that I'm going for in the rest of the dress here, I want to add kind of some flowery shapes on one side, but only one side. It's going to be a little bit asymmetrical. And then once again, you know, just kind of the black lacy parts coming out. And I'm gonna keep it pretty bare bones for now, and that's fine. Cut in roughly where the eye holes are gonna go. There's somewhere around here. I think this one actually needs to be a little further to the side. Probably should have put that in before the flowery part. I'll keep that in mind later. But yeah, I decided I didn't want to do very much with it. I wanted to keep it pretty straightforward. The main part that was a little bit hard for me to kind of work out in my head was that I wanted it to look good on both designs. That was a little bit tricky. But I think that this color scheme should work. And then we'll have a part that's just a little bit more transparent here. So something like that. Turns out this is way easier than I thought it would be. A lot of design stuff kind of ends up like that, where I just kind of gotta plop down the ideas first, and then everything just kind of works out. and then sometimes you just gotta try a few patterns before it all works, but we'll get something like that in there. We'll have some little flowery bits. It'll all be very fancy. Nose is just suddenly all stuffed up again. The worst. I didn't need it, I'd get rid of it, I'd fire it. It's terrible. Anyway. But yeah, I think I want it to be something like that, and her hand will actually be holding it. And I'll figure that out when I draw the hand. But I'll just leave it like that for now. And you know what? I think I'm satisfied with that. So I'm gonna go jump right back into the face after I blow my nose. Give me just a moment. You know, I blew my nose before the stream started, and yet here we are. Sorry about that. Give me just a moment. Alright, there we go. Much better. Okay. You know, it's funny. I think as I get over the sickness, it's gonna be about time for allergy season to start. I swear, you get 0 breaks when you're a parent. I never realized just how bad sickness when you have small school children is. I have heard about the struggle of teachers now, and I get it. Ooh, terrifying stuff. Sounds like they're sick, like, all the time, and if you move to a new school, your immune system has to adjust again to all the disease at the new school. And, it's all very scary sounding. Anyway, I decided that her head was rotated a bit too hard, so I'm gonna kinda push that back just a little, and I think her head could actually stand to be just a touch bigger. There we go. Let me actually zoom out pretty far for that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix a lot of body proportions, but I think from her head to where her feet are roughly, this seems about right. You know, I think I have enough head information now that I think I'd like to actually just go through and fix some proportions. The head isn't exactly right. I especially want to fix her ears, for example, but it's good enough that I think I can just kind of roll through the rest. So let's do that. I'm gonna go and be very messy about it. So I'm just gonna do it right on my body group, which will affect everything. We'll see if I regret my life choices here. Okay, I already regret my life choices, so let's not do that. But yeah, you know, it's almost spring, so allergies will be a-coming. I didn't used to get them that hard, but I swear there must be a rogue plant or something in the backyard. And at some point I should just find a way to find which one it is and absolutely murder it, so that this way I don't have to deal with it anymore, but I have not. So here we are. But that'll probably be coming. But we'll see how I end up feeling there, or if I'm just going to be eternally stuffed up for a bit. Okay, and here I'm not going to worry about the placement of the buttons yet. Just knowing that they'll be there is sufficient information for now. Okay, there we go. And I'm just kind of measuring based on the size of the head here. I want the center of her chest to be about another head down. I guess looking at her here, I can make it slightly lower, but not too much. They're not super heavy looking. She is leaning back slightly, so that kind of pushes them up and forward a little bit. And I'm trying to ignore this lower part for now, because this needs to be way higher. I wanted it to be kind of under the bust line here, so that needs to be like up here. But it's not time. I want to make sure I'm satisfied with the location of the bust before I put in the thing that's supposed to be wrapping around it a little bit. Doing it the other order is just silly. Okay, so yeah, it's here. And then there's going to be a border layer. Are you up there? Yes, perfect. I do not remember how I structured like any of these layers. Okay. And then exactly how I translate all this to the other side is going to be interesting. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do that yet. What I think I'm going to do is finish off the face here and then start on this side and actually do this side first. Just because there's legs and that'll make everything easier, but I've already started on this side, so I'll do some of this side first. Oh, so that is on a different layer. Okay. I wish to find that layer. I'm guessing that's you? Yeah, there we go. I want to push all this up together. But this part's always kinda interesting. I think design-wise, once I start pushing stuff into place like this, my intentions become a little bit more clear. But that's always kind of an interesting time. One of the most satisfying parts of drawing the picture for me is just when it reaches the point that suddenly all the ideas in my head are now just comprehensible. And just about anyone looking at the picture can understand what exactly it was that I was going for. Very nice time. It takes me a little while to get there. And I'd say at this point, maybe half of what I'm going for is clear. That generally happens within the first stream, but then as I start just refining a lot of little things, especially around the face, things become even more clear, and it's a nice time. I like this design. Depending on how I feel about it at the end, I've actually been considering loading up Live 2D and turning it into a fan model. Yeah, I've been poking around with it a little bit. Live 2D specifically. Not Inochi in this case. It is different. We'll see how I feel about it once I actually rig a model in it. Let's see, I feel like she's a little skinny here. Yeah, we'll see how I feel about it all once I actually rig a model in it, but right now it's just been kind of an idle curiosity. Let's make her just a little bit less skinny here. Get some hips in there, because that's what the mermaid silhouette and clothing is all about. Yep. I don't want to make her look chunky there. Gotta smooth out that stomach a little bit, but I want the hip to come out just a little bit here. She's got pretty well-defined hips here. That part of it's just covered by that long coat there. But without it, you can pretty clearly see the hip there. Okay, I think that's starting to look pretty alright. Still looking a little thick in the middle, but part of that I think is just because the hips aren't quite the right place. That, I guess VTubers tend to be a little bit unnaturally skinny. I blame the anime. Okay. So I just kind of want to emphasize that shape. Some of this might change when I know where the legs are exactly. So I'm not going to spend too long on it, but I kind of want her body shape making sense to me. And I kind of want everything in roughly the right place and all that good stuff. So I just want to kind of get it started. Yeah, now she's looking a little thick. Let's kind of push that back in a little. And this needs to be higher. I think her hand might need to be a little bit higher too. But there we go. That's all feeling a little bit more proportionate to me. Let's go take a look at it before and after. Here to here. Yeah, that does feel a little bit better. Okay, let's go erase some of the stuff that kind of came out. Some of the stuff that's sticking out where it shouldn't be. And then I think I can jump back into face. I'll fix her hand first. Okay, if I remember correctly, the hand was like somewhere up here. I doubt I put it above the head, but yeah, there it is. Right there. There it is. What are you? Okay. So I'm just gonna take all of these and let's see. Is this something I can liquefy sanely? Probably not, but I'm gonna try. Just because it'd be much easier if I could. Oh no, okay, I can. So I'm just kind of pulling it all out there. Gonna move the hand up a bit. Oh, I need the trim layer too. Okay. Come on. Okay, there we go. I guess I'll pull the hand up a little bit first. And it's fine if things get all kind of distorted and gross here. It'll be fixed later. It's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna have to adjust where the shoulder flower thing is, but that's fine. I can do that. Let's just really get all this in the right place. We will get her looking nice here. That arm is super thick, but I think it's okay for now. I think this is making her shoulder look a little bit broader than I want it to. The arm needs to come way out in order to be the correct length. And then this one's too long. I guess I'll fix that real quick while I'm here. Okay, and I'll just plop this guy up a little higher where he should be. All right, let's go fix the other arm. I don't need to fix the hand this time, so I think this is enough. Perfect. Ignore that her arm looks a little bit bent in the forearm. It's fine. This is sufficient for now. Okay. It's all still very loose and weird in a lot of places, but yeah, I think this shows my intentions pretty well, so let's go back into the face. I still just kind of want to work on that. So, the things I observed while I was looking at things, I'm not sure if the mouth is quite right. The nose is definitely not quite right. The angle that I have the eyes at suggests a nose that's a little bit further to the left here. Trying not to overdo it, but it can be hard. It really can be. I don't want it to be quite this big, though, either. I can tell that it's been liquefied to hell and back. Okay, how's that? The location looks a little bit better, but man, am I gonna have to clean this up like crazy when it comes time to fully render it. Oh man. I am so worried that I'm just really messing things up. But you know, it's okay. I believe in my ability to fix it later. So I'm not too concerned. I think it'll be okay. But pull in the shadows there a little bit more nicely, and the nostrils are just... Oh man, they got pushed around. I've been bullying this poor nose. I do want to put some lights on it eventually. But there we go. That feels a little bit more in place here. I think it's following the angle of her eyes a little bit better. And you see, this is why I haven't actually detailed the eyes yet. Because I like to do that after I can trust everything. And after I know that I'm happy with where everything is. Until then, I just like to hold off. Okay, with all those changes, I do think I need to move the jawline over a little bit again. Might be why I was struggling with the jawline so much, because there's a discrepancy between where the nose and the eyes were, so... when I run into trouble like that, I should check that. I should check to see if there's some kind of weird discrepancy between the nose and the eyes that's making it really hard to line up where the jaw is. That seems plausible to me. Okay. Right now, her head looks extremely top-heavy. I'm just kind of rotating it back, and by that, I mean there's something about the way I have the hair drawn that is just making it look a little bit off there. I'm gonna hide the window again, just so I can very clearly see the edge of her face there. But yeah, when I look at this, it does look like it's kind of ballooning upward. A little bit swollen on this side. Okay. Let's go push it around a bit. And I'll just keep pushing it around until I'm happy. I'm kind of switching back and forth between the hair in the back there and the rest. It looks like it's still selected, even though I deselected it there, but... the program disagrees with my assessment that the one was not highlighted. But no, I just want to move the front hair a little bit here. Gonna push it down just a little bit there, and... see where that takes me. Oh, is this not part of the back hair then? It isn't. Okay, that would explain it. Okay. I thought I had those on separate layers, but I did not. That's fine, actually. I was just surprised. I like where the flower is. Kind of on the side of her head a little bit. And I do need to get this nice and swirly again. I do not want to get rid of those nice little swirls in there. I might have to just redraw them manually somewhat, but I do find liquefy is a pretty useful first step here. Okay, then I probably have some head that's just kind of shining through there. I'll just go ahead and erase it. I will trust my hair here. Yeah, that already looks a little bit better. It's not quite there, but it's definitely better. I still just kind of feel it out. Someday I'll find a more effective way to do this, but right now it is very much by feel. But at the very least, I think her face feels pretty balanced now. Maybe the jaw is still a little bit off. There's a little bit of a cave-in over there, for example. But the fact that the rest of her face feels pretty balanced gives me a little bit more confidence in what I'm doing. I might actually need to move the flower. Just a little bit lower, perhaps. Let's actually hide the flower for just a second. I'll move it down too. Yeah, there we go. Now it's not quite sitting on the top of her head anymore. But anyway, let's liquefy this a little bit more and That's why I say I am gonna have to redraw large swaths of this, since liquefy is, it has problems, let's say. But I do find it useful for kind of doing just the initial stuff. It helps me out quite a lot. Just really trying to make sure the back of her head is well attached to everything, and it doesn't feel quite so swollen. So I'm just kind of gently prodding it. I often use liquefy very gently. I find it more effective than just dragging things across willy-nilly. Kind of sad to be liquefying it this much, to be honest. Because I know I smoothed out quite a lot of that. And now I'm gonna have to do it all again. But such is life. Alright, how are we looking? Let's see, where was before? Probably back here. Let's go all the way back. I just want to see the difference. So there to there. It can be nice to know if I'm on the right track or not. But yeah, that's a pretty clear difference. I think it's looking much better. Alright. Did you know the mouth is actually looking better with that? Proportions are weird. It's like, how did fixing the back of her head make me feel better about the mouth? Does this still feel like the expression that I want to have on her face? Like, I want there to be a degree of subtlety, but right now she's not looking nearly smarmy enough. It's hard. Anyway, let's go fix her ears. I will think about how I should go about fixing that. Right now, I just feel like the angle difference is a little bit strong. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of push this one down a bit. And I think I want to push this one up a bit. Gotta make sure they're nice and big, though. That's important. Gotta have the proper knife ears here. Alright. Man, my nose is like already super stuffed up again. What the hell's going on? Yeah, give me just a moment. I apologize. Man, I actually have been feeling way better. I had a little bit of trouble getting up this morning. I kind of ended up falling back asleep after my alarm went off. But, overall, I've been feeling much better the past couple of days. But, man, does it feel like just everything is getting stuck in my nose. The worst, I tell you. Alright. I kind of want to smooth out that jawline a little bit. Not gonna worry about keeping everything smooth and blended for now. I just kind of want to get it correct. And man, it really does look like the hair's been through the blender a little bit. Very sad. Liquefy is powerful, but it is dangerous. You gotta be careful with it. I think overall it's looking pretty good. I might do a little bit more with those eyebrows. They're not quite smug enough for me. I have a particular face in mind. I'm wondering. Let's see, can I find a solid reference of what I got, of what I kind of have in mind here? Does she have a good stream face I can steal? Currently not really looking like it. Yeah, that's fine. I think I know what to do. Let me just fix this jaw a little bit. I'm gonna leave the eyebrows kind of symmetrical for the time being, just because I think it'll make it easier to proportion everything else. And I'll go mess with them a little bit, in just a little bit. As much as I would love to go smooth out the nose and the jaw, I kind of don't trust myself until I like where the expression is. It's just always hard because order of operations when drawing it's rough. It is. Because keeping the eyebrows a little bit more symmetrical will make it a little bit easier for me to place certain things. But if I don't have the expression right, then everything is pointless. So sometimes figuring out the order to do things in is just absolute nightmare. Okay, but I think this is looking all right now. Fill in the little spot right there. Let's kind of pull things up here. I want it to start going up toward the ear underneath her hair, probably right about there. So right about here, I think. And until then, this line will be fairly straight. I think that's one place where that I've been getting wrong in my jawlines a lot, and why I tend to have to flail at them for a long time. Is that when I started touching the edge of my jaw a little bit, trying to feel out when it kind of heads up toward the ear. And yeah, it's pretty much a straight line until that point. So the ear and where the neck kind of goes, connects up in there. Everything before that is actually very straight. And I was a little bit surprised by this revelation. I do think it's funny how much, well, everything gets better with just a little bit of awareness. It's pretty hard to fix things when you don't even know what the problem is. Gotta lift this part up just a little. Just a little. And I think I want to tuck that ear in just a little bit. A little lower. There we go. I think something like that looks pretty okay. Gotta double check the location of her eyes, but I think I'm pretty happy with that now. So what I think I want to do is define the nose a little bit better. And before I do that, I actually want to take a look at this guy's noses, because right now I feel like the ball of the nose is a little bit dark. Yeah, I think so. You can see where it kind of turns down there. And here we're kind of have just one side. So I want to get a better feel for how the light is hitting the nose there. I think it's more comparable to how this one is, where we have the strong light on one side, and then the big side, as I call it, the side that we see a little bit more of. So that would be this side on this girl, as opposed to this side of her face, which we see very little of because it's turned away. So in this case, the big side is the one in the dark there, so we don't get very much, but I feel like I should have a little bit more of a bright area on that side. So let's do that. Let's do that. I'm gonna grab my friend the airbrush here. I feel like some of my bright colors there got a little bit lost in the liquefy. I think I have a swatch here somewhere, though. Shading test isn't my swatch, is it? No, I guess it is. Okay. Yeah, I actually don't really have that much of a bright color picked. Maybe I should. I might make it a little brighter. We'll see how I feel in a few minutes. But yeah, I just kind of want to make a little bit of the side facing the light here that I do feel like we see. Noses are a little bit more triangular than cubic, so at least in my head. So I do think we get something a little bit more like this, with a little bit of a dark spot on the bottom there. It's lighter, but it's still darker than this right here. So I'm just trying to make the planes clear. And when I think about planes in a nose, I want to do that with the more solid brush here. So I'm seeing the big plane just here, the other edge about here. I'm not too worried about the nostrils for now, so. But this is the kind of shape that I'm seeing here. So something like this. And then this area is the bottom. We see it. It's pointed away from the light, so we get a slight plane change there. And then this area is a little bit more subdivided. There's shenanigans, so that side's a little bit darker. But this is roughly how I'm seeing the nose. It is not at all in perspective, but that is the general shape. So that is the shape that I want to make sure that I have convincingly portrayed before everything is all said and done. Okay, and how does he handle the side of the nose there? It's like on this girl, it's kind of just fades into the rest of her face. There actually isn't a whole lot of changes there. So I'm wondering if I should just be making the entire side of her face a little bit darker there. That might actually make more sense. It's like I ended up going for something a little bit more like this. But I think that the type of lighting I have is actually more comparable to this one. So yeah, you know what? Let's try it. Let's see what happens if I just take this dark color and spread it around to this side of her face a little bit harder. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. Okay, let's do it. I might leave a little bit of a light spot on her cheeks just because it makes me happy. But we'll see how I feel about things. But for now, I actually kind of dig this. Take some of this slightly darker color and kind of want to emphasize her brow just a little bit more there. But otherwise, I think that's pretty nice. I do. A little bit too dark. I'm doing a little bit more lighting work than I normally do in a lot of my pictures early on here. I tend to like to save it for the end, but I do feel like with what I'm going for here, a little bit more upfront work is necessary. And I'm not too worried about her nose looking very triangular right now. I'm going to soften some of those shapes a little bit later. Let's see, maybe right about there. They'll get a little bit softer. It'll be okay. I don't want to go too hard on anything, and I think I still want to color just a little bit lighter here. I don't mind getting real close to white for this. But some of this, I don't think I can really make stand out until I just, you know, make large parts of her face a little bit darker. So I'm not going to worry about some of the bright shines or anything. But, just the general gist of her face here. I think it's a bit premature for that. I like this, though. And we got a subtle little light on the cheek. I'm not gonna go too strong on, you know, the Rembrandt triangle there, but a little bit of a hint on it, I think is good. Still put a little bit around the eyes. As always, when it comes to anime, you know, you just put a lot of detail around the eyes. It'll look better that way. Here, just a moment, I got a cough. I guess my body has just decided it is time to flush everything out of it. Okay, I don't quite like how hard this transition is, but I don't think I'm going to soften it just yet. I kind of want to keep things a little bit harder than I would normally keep it for just a little while longer, I think. Just a little while longer. While I work out a lot of the structural details. Okay. And now I think I can play with the eyebrows. Let's go. So what I think I want to do for a little part of the expression here is I just want to raise this one up just a little bit. This one I think I'll keep a little bit lower, but this one I think I'll raise a little bit higher. Let's see. Let's see. Just gonna mess with it a bit. See where it takes me. Do I feel like her nose is a little bit long again? I think I do. Okay. Gotta just lift that up a little bit. I'll lift the mouth up as well, so, you know, don't worry about... No, just don't worry about it. Believe in me. Okay. And we'll bring the mouth up a little, and I think it'll make the size of her chin feel a little bit better, too. It's feeling a little bit small to me. But yeah, that feels a little bit better. You know, gradually, things just kind of start getting back into place here. But it always takes me a little bit just to figure out how things should be going. But yeah, I think I do like her eyebrows a little bit more up. Oh, I said eyebrows. Okay. There we go. That's bringing a little bit more smugness into the expression, I think. I need to... That arm is no longer pointing in the right direction. It doesn't feel quite so relaxed. No, I see what the problem is. You know what? I'm gonna fix that right now. I just went ahead and did the pose, and I forgot that when you pose like that, your hand, it, actually does this. Goes this way. Let's get this back on the glove there. It's just kind of floating around. It's okay. Alright, then I just kind of got to reattach it. It might actually be easier just to draw that than liquefy it, but I'll start with liquefy. Okay, let's draw the rest. Let's see, what is her skin tone? Right there, okay. So what's gonna happen is it kinda, the wrist connects here and then it goes up. I had forgotten that hands do that. I was just looking at it, I'm just like, man, everything here feels wrong. What is wrong? And it was just that. Just that. But while I'm kind of feeling out the rest of the body, I just wanted to get that. Good, because, you know, posture and those kinds of things can actually kind of enhance facial features as well. Everything is connected. So at this point, I'm kinda big on energy again. And I do think before I fully render the rest of her face, I do want to get her hair, but I just kind of want to make sure everything's proportionate before I do her hair again, because otherwise I'll have to liquefy the hair like I just did, and then I'll be sad. I don't want to be sad. I like to avoid that when I can. So I want to make sure that my energy is strong. That everything is the way that I would like it to be. Okay, and you know what? While I'm here, I think I'm going to make this arm a little thinner. It's a bit of a thing right now. She must be strong, but, you know, there are limits. There's a difference between strong and having tree trunks for limbs. Yes. At some point, I do like to... Once the face is far enough along that I feel like I can understand things proportionally, and I think her arms still feel a bit weird. But once I feel like I can understand things proportionally, I do kind of like to go back over things. And start getting things a little bit more accurate here. Her arms still feel very strange. Although I'm not sure there's much point here, because like I said, I think I want to do them on this side more than this side. But I also feel like I can't really tell if the expression is correct until I kind of de-noodle some of her limbs here. Art is hard. It really... It would be nice if I could just do everything all at once, but it's just not possible. So I kind of gotta go round and round until things kind of start working out again. Yeah, like I said, I overdid it. Her limbs feel a little bit noodly now. Her arms feel long. This feels right to me. Belly button's probably about here. So yeah, that feels about right. I feel like her elbows are in about the right spot now. So why do you feel so strange? Let me try something. If I put a shadow here, will that fix at least some of the issues? Actually, yes. Okay. You know what? I'll take it. Let's go ahead and pop in a few shadows here then. Try to let that feel a little bit better. It still feels a little bit nebulous and weird. This is definitely not going to be the final form, but I think it's okay for now. I'm not sure if this mask fits on her face properly yet. I'm not going to worry about its proportion yet. Let me check by the way I actually do the pose. Okay, I see. No, this seems about right. Just checking the angle that my arm goes at when I do a similar stance. Okay. What I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab all of these layers here. Yeah, and I need the trim as well, which I do believe is up there. Yeah, it is on that. And I just want to turn this arm just a little bit. Although, no, I kind of like it going near her face. Like, having the arm out feels a little bit more natural, but having it near her face, I kind of like the idea better. Let me think about this for a second. So let's go back and forth. So, you know, something like that I think feels a little bit more natural, but I kind of like having the mask near her face, too. Let's go back and forth a few times. So I have here, or I have here. Now, I gotta go for the natural one. Do I? See, this is how I make these kinds of decisions. Sometimes it can take me a second, and sometimes it is just incessant arguing. Or I'm just like, is this actually true? I do think that this kind of pose suits the demeanor and general expression that I want here. It feels much more casual. What's it look like with the window on? Because I think if I use the window correctly, I can make that look pretty strong. I just worry it'll blend in with the flowers going around the edge a little bit too hard. No, I think this actually looks okay. So yeah, I think I'll go with this one. Alright. I'm just going to turn the window off for a bit, though. It's just easier to see her face right now. That actually is a problem. Her face should be very prominent, even with the window on, of course. But that's... I already have the solution that I plan to use for that, and it's lighting that I'm not drawing yet. It's this. That darkness will really make her stand out against the light of the window. But it's just not yet time to be dealing with that. So right now I'm just making sure that some of the basic way her face is lit and all that is correct. But there we go. This feels very casual. And then, okay. Let's go do the other thing that I think will really help the expression. And that is where I'm putting the eyelash spikes. I don't want to go too far into detail on her eyes yet. But it's just clear to me that I'm not going to quite figure that out. Oh yeah, and I also remember last time going through and looking at how he handled eyelashes here. And I found it super fascinating that when he has slightly narrowed eyelashes, most of the spikes of the eyelashes are actually on this side of the eye. You know, the part closer to the nose as opposed to the parts in the corner. I found that fascinating. You can see it especially here. Like, there's virtually nothing here. In fact, this part of her eyelash is still turned up. But yeah, you see the little spikes of the eyelashes here in the middle. I found that fascinating, and I wanted to try it. Yeah, hers are turned up. So hers aren't quite as narrowed. But hers are very sad and downturned. You can see they're right through there, and this one is still out here. So I wanted to try that. So you'd get a strong spike kind of coming out this way. And then just more out in this part of the eye, I think. At least according to this artist, that I think is pretty cool. Whose work I enjoy a lot, so let's see if this will give me the kind of thing that I want from it. And then I can do the lower lashes as I please. I'm actually not going to go too hard on the ones out the side here. Okay, okay. No, I can see it. I can. I want it to go a little bit more that way, though. There we go. Be a little bit more strongly eyelashy. Okay, yeah, I can see it. I think that's working for me. Nice and fluffy. I dig it. And will this get the rest of her facial expression the way I want? Let's see. Another thought. Do I want to push this up just a little bit? I don't want it to be very strong. I did try pushing it up quite a lot before, and it didn't look very good, but maybe just a little bit higher like that. Oh yeah, that's quite good. Yeah, that'll look great once I actually start smoothing it out. I think that's about what I want. Looks very casual, somewhat sinister. Exactly right. Freaking nose, though. I swear, I can never get it in exactly the right spot. Right now, I feel like it's a little bit big. I'll fix that momentarily. But I'm just trying to get this bridge line going where I want it to. How do I feel about her forehead? Is it too small? Honestly, I think it is a little bit too small, so I'm gonna go push her hair up just a little bit. I think it mostly needs to happen just right here, and the rest of it is fine. The good news is that, you know, the face is as important as it is. I always like to be very particular with it. So everything else tends to come a little bit more quickly. Okay. Okay, no, I think this is... It's getting there. How do I feel about the nose? I want to push the point down just a little bit. Not cage, liquefy. So all I'm gonna do there... Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That would do it. Back down here. I want to push the tip down just a little bit. There we go. So all I need to do that is just push that dark spot down and make it a little bit flatter. But for those wondering why I didn't render the eyes last time, this is why. You can see I'm still moving stuff around a lot. I did not trust my facial proportions, and I think they look so much better now. And you know, I'm still not going to do it for a little bit. I've got the bare minimum I need to make sure she is looking the right direction, and that's enough for now. I actually plan to do the hair before I do the eyes. And the only reason her face is getting this smooth, it's necessary. It's necessary while I kind of feel stuff out. I'm not very used to drawing noses anymore. It's been a while since I drew a nose. I think the last nose I seriously drew was the one on my model here, and even that I tried to simplify quite a bit. I used to draw noses a lot. But for some reason I just stopped. I say for some reason, but I don't think it's that much of a mystery. It's not super necessary for a lot of anime simplification. And a deformation. So I just kind of got used to not doing it. And now I just kind of got to remember. But I did used to draw noses quite a lot. And I mean, even my simplified noses tend to be a little bit more nose than what I see in a lot of anime styling. But honestly, I kind of like them. I wouldn't say I like drawing them necessarily, but I do think that actually adds to the face. So I think I might start, depending on the image, drawing some more noses. I think it looks fantastic here. I really like it here. But you know, maybe there's a place for him. Ooh, that looks pretty good. How's the chin? Does it feel a little big? Maybe a little big. Okay, yeah, it was a little big. Okay, cool. Gradually fixing all the issues. And I do feel like with every step I take, it looks a lot better. I like this a lot better than what I had at the start here. How do I feel about the balance? Once again, I feel like the nose bridge needs to come a little further that way, but I think the nose tip looks pretty good. Let's see, you know, while I am here, let's go ahead and darken this half here on the side of her mouth, kind of match it up with the rest of this side of the face. Okay. And then I want to make her look just a little bit more suspicious. I think this one is the one with the most suspicious of the expressions. And there's just a little bit more shadow on one of the sides of the face here. So I kind of want to make the area around this eye just a little bit darker. Most of the other ones, yeah, I guess a lot of the other ones I picked don't have that suspicious of an expression. Or somewhat. But I think if I just put a little bit more dark just around this part of her eye, maybe even a little bit darker than that. I think that the eye makeup I have planned will help. And I'm totally destroying the eyelid that I drew, but don't worry about it. I have a vision. Yeah. So I just wanted to make her look a little bit more suspicious. And for that, having some nice dark colors can actually really help. Especially around the eyes. So now I'm just kind of blending it out. I don't want it to be super overt, though. So I'm just kind of blend it out, let it go to nothing. And then I think that this color is plenty dark for this side. Let's go ahead and get some nice colors there. And then I think her forehead should have a little bit more light on it, at least on this side. I'm just gonna kind of plop that in. Gotta get some of those hair shadows in there. I'm not gonna be super particular about that because I haven't re-smoothed the hair, but I just want to make sure that the impressions are looking good. Okay, and that seems good so far. Let's take the absolute darkest part here. I'm gonna make it just slightly darker. And then I'm gonna go put the eyelid back. I'm not really used to drawing eyelids like this either. I used to do it a lot more, but haven't in a while, actually. I kind of dig it, though, so we might, you might see it a little bit more. I like this. Yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see. How do I feel about the ear? I think it might be sticking out just a little bit too much here. Here, I'm trying to feel out the eye balance, I think. No, I think the first move was good. But after that, I think it's only this eye that needs to move a little bit. Like I said, I draw the eyes a little bit big for a style like this, but I like them a little bit big, so I'm gonna keep it like that. But it does kind of change some of my general proportioning just a little bit there. Okay, but there we go. I feel like that's sitting on her face pretty well. You know what? I think I'm actually pretty happy with this. Do I dare try to render hair today? Because if I do and I look at it next time and I'm just like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's off, and now I have to redo the hair again. I'm gonna be sad. So, this is where it might be good to work on something else for a little bit. But yeah, I'm actually quite happy with this time. I think it's looking really good. Man, I really want to believe, but I just don't trust myself. I really don't. So, what do I do? Okay, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take what I have here and I'm gonna plop it on this side, and I'm gonna start working on the proportions on this side and get everything kind of good there. And I'm gonna start on the clothes here. I will put the mask on there too, but I don't think it's that important to get right at the moment, so let's go ahead. I think it's fine for me to just redo all the hair, so I'm just gonna remove the head on the side. Don't worry about it. It's okay. She might need a head, but she can live without it for maybe 5 minutes. It'll be alright. Hide that side. Flop it over on the other side. And then I'm just gonna move it up. Okay. Up it goes. It's amazing how different she looks with the more rendered head here. Okay, so let's get this in here now. Layer management. Never a good time, but necessary. Okay. So this will give me a good idea of how things are going to be. So this side is not going to have the flower here. This side is going to have the flower down on her chest here. So I'll go ahead and put it there. It's kind of facing the wrong way at the moment, but I might have to kind of smooth certain parts out in order to make that look good, but we'll start with this. I'll leave it at about the same size. Alright, let's do the kind of adjustments of her hair here. So I think even in this hairstyle, this the hair flower is still going to be there. And what actually changes is that the rest of the hair kind of comes out and turns into a braid. So let's go ahead and get rid of some of the loose strands I got down there. I think I'm gonna tuck it in just a little, and there we go. And then eventually it'll stop turning into a flower, and it'll just kind of all combine together into this braid that is going to be going over her shoulder. It is going to be quite long, and I still have to do a lot of the adjustments with the hands and stuff that I did on the other side. But, you know, that's why I'm doing it over here now. I think I'm still just going to finish rendering the face on this side when the time comes. I still just don't trust myself, but this is enough to show me the size. So I can start feeling out the rest of the design here. I'm going to turn off the window on this side as well. Where are you, Mr. Window? There you are. Okay. Just so that this way I can see clearly. And then I'm kind of deciding how I want it to move. Over here, there's a little bit less movement necessary in the hair since it's all kind of balled up. But on this side, that's not really true. This side, we got a little bit of looseness. So I'm thinking about how her head is turning. And I figure that she turned it from the window going this way. So her head is moving this direction. It's wrapping around there. Which would, in turn, make her hair sit on her shoulder a little bit differently than that. So let's get that. Drop it down a little bit harder, so this way I can let it sit. You know what? There's enough light colors back there that I'm actually going to start it with the black code. Oh. Oh. Never mind. I'll do the top part, the black tone, but the rest needs to be white. I forgot that her suit was black for some reason. But there we go. Do it like that. Just let it sit. Let it sit, nice and gently. I want it to kind of come out a little bit. There we go. Gonna hide that white part of the suit real quick. There we go. We'll leave it red for the time being, just so I can see clearly. And I want to make sure I get the length about right. So even when it's all tied up, her hair goes down to, like, her thighs. Okay, so that's about what I've got here. And that should go to show you just how tightly wound I picture her hair being back here. Just we don't see the back of her head. I might show some... I might show some hints of the braids that I picture being back there. I figured that there's some pretty big ones. I could probably show a little bit of it through here and stuff like that. That it's all kind of just bundled together in this little hair flower. But I mean, the hair flower's on this side too, of course. And of course, it's, you know, in her design. So even with that, the hair is... her hair is just absurdly long. And then I think I want to do it to flip around a little bit. And let's see, she's putting her hand there. Do I want the hair to cover that, or do I want her hand to be pushing it out of the way? I don't think that this is that important, so I think it's fine if the hair covers it. We'll see if I change my mind, but for now I will allow the hair to cover it, and I'll just add a nice little flippy part down here. Because who doesn't love a bunch of flippy stuff in the hair? I think I want it to be a little bit thicker than this. It's a pretty big braid. Okay, and we'll have something like that. I'm not going to put the rest of the detail in for now. I want to focus on proportion again. Because yeah, I've got enough detail in the head for that. So I know roughly how big everything is going to be. Okay. Let's get this flower in a slightly better spot here. I think I want it to be a little bit lower. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is the thing I did with the hand on the other side. It needs to be in the right spot. At the right angle. So I need to grab all the pieces that are handling that. Is it just the arm? No. Actually, yes, because the rest of that is the sleeve. Okay. We'll get this turned the right way. Because, you know, if you put your hand on your hips in a sassy manner, the hand is actually going up a little bit. Where is the rest of that stuff? I very obviously have more stuff going on here. So is it just these two? That's where I have to remember how my layers work again. Does that pretty strongly. You know what? I can get a better selection than that. This way I don't have to destroy a bunch of the cape. I'll destroy a little bit of the cape. That's okay. Okay, and you know what? I gotta blow my nose again. Everything is just getting stuck up there. I swear, at the end of sickness, everything just gets harder. One moment, please. But, okay. It's okay. You know, someday this will all stop. Here's hoping that next week I have control over my nostrils again. My goodness, there's already like stuff stuck up there again. I hate being sick. It's the absolute worst. Alright, let's start feeling out the arm here. Let's see, is the elbow in the right place? I think I actually just put the elbow a little bit too low. But regardless, I don't need this arm. So I'm gonna go kill that, and this way I can just focus on, you know, the one part here. You know what, I instead of using my arm, I should just go look up a reference. I'm gonna go do that real quick. This way I can stay nice and cozy in my blanket, too. Yes. Okay. And on hip. Show me what you got. Yeah, that's about what I want. So I'm just really taking in that the angle of the two parts of the arm are here. Trying to get a good understanding of that. And I think I have a good idea of how it's done, so let's go. I want this part to go up a little higher, and then I do think I have the angle of the hand pretty okay. I will have to adjust the trim on there quite a lot, but that's fine. I can do that. And what is this? I must have drawn something on a different layer at some point. Okay, so it is just this layer, fortunately. I'm just gonna erase all that. Okay, and I think that arm is perhaps a little bit long, or maybe just that her head is a little bit small. It's funny, because the head looks pretty okay over here, but not so much over here. To be fair, I don't see the legs on this side. She is looking a little chunky again over here, but it's okay. We'll get everything right on this side, where the shape of her body is just a little bit more clear in most areas. Even with the skirty part, it doesn't really hide a lot of things. And even here, with the part covering the shoulders, it still doesn't really hide the shoulders at all. So I think I'll just be able to feel a lot of that out a little bit more easily. And I think I'm actually going to hide the hair here. She looks fine with that hairstyle, it's fine. So it should let me feel out the rest of the proportions pretty safely. Okay, I'm actually gonna hide a lot of the cape stuff for now. And I want to kind of figure out her shoulders. So, firmly back into proportion land here. But man, just looking at her face again, I still think it looks really good. So that bodes well for next week. Okay, and when you have your hand on your hip like that, I think the shoulder goes up. Yeah, just a little. Goes up just a little. So I'll let this one kind of come up. It'll blend into the side of the arm there. And I think that's where her arm starts going down. So it comes up just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna hide a few of the details here while I figure out, you know, exactly how these things wrap around her neck and stuff. Important to know. Let's see, where's the rest of the body here? I kind of want to feel out the neck. Let's see, I think that connects well, but I don't think it's connecting into the shoulders just right. Do I have the shoulders a little bit low? I think I do. So let's raise that. I think for that, I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm just going to grab it from here, pull it up, and I'll fill in the rest later. This will change how I handle the braid, but this is exactly why I hid it. It's exactly why I hid it. Because I knew that there would probably be certain things that would affect it a little bit, and I didn't want to get stuck. Okay. For the sake of helping me figure out how things are connecting, I actually am going to draw, like, the collar of the suit and the shirt here. So, it'll be covered up mostly. But I think it'll be actually help me out in the long run. Where is the shirt, anyway? I have a shirt layer, right? There it is. Okay. So I'm picturing kind of a round collar here. I think it's going to kind of wrap around like this. I always kind of like rolling with the V-neck because that makes it very, very easy for me to tell which direction things are facing. But I'm gonna resist right now. I'm gonna actually try to draw it correctly here. I'm pretty sure I can handle it. Okay. So we'll have that. I'm gonna grab the shadow color too. It's gonna kind of wrap around the back of her neck here. Kind of like this. And then there's gonna be like these dark shadowed parts. And dress shirt, so it will have the, you know, little collary part here. This is why I grabbed the shadow color. So this way I could add those details and kind of help me understand a bit. Gotta hide the buttons. I want no interference while I figure out where the center of this thing is. Well, I figure out how it's actually sitting on her. Okay, I think this shoulder is actually going to be a little bit higher, so I will draw that now. I don't think I want to do it via shirt, so I will do it via suit. So I think that her shoulder kind of comes out here. It's not going that high. This one is kind of pointing a little bit more downward. And I will do the same thing that I did to the arm on this side. I should get what I have of the mask over there too. I'll go ahead and do that right now. Where are you, mask? Where did I put you? I don't remember. It's not how it always goes. Seriously, I thought you were above the hand. Where did I put you? I'm in the right group, right? Yeah, I'm in the right group. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Where'd you go? There it is. It's just like, wait, where did I put it? It's hiding. And the good news is that the location of this will be a perfect mirror image to the other side, and it'll let me know where I want to put the hand. So that I can adjust everything accordingly. Hell yeah. Alright, where is the thing here? Like, do I just put it there, I think? Okay. I'll give it a shot. I'll see how I feel about it. If I need to move it around, I guess that's probably fine. So let's see, we have... I might actually need you to be higher than that, but I'll start there for now. Where's my sleeve? Where is anything? God, I cannot find anything in this mess of layers. It's nice, it makes it so easy to change things, but dear lord, is it impossible to find anything? Where is the sleeve? There it is, okay. So with any luck, this is actually all the layers I want to move. I'll just take this arm and push it out here. Man, right now her body really does feel so much bigger than her head. Alright, that's why I'm fixing everything right now. And if I need to make her head bigger, I will, you know, take this and move it back over to the other side, I guess. I'd rather not. Because when you start flipping things back and forth a lot, it starts to get some of the transformed deformations on it, and I'd have to go back and fix a lot of things, and I don't want to move things back and forth too hard. It's rough out there. So I'd rather keep it looking a little bit more like this. God, I gotta blow my nose again. Give me just a sec. I'm so sorry about that. It's impossible to talk with stuff trying to get into my throat, I swear. Okay. Okay, back to what I was doing. Let's see. I don't quite like where the collar is. But there we go. I think that arm is okay for now. I want to focus on the shoulders mostly. Oh yeah, that is so much better. That is so much better. Okay. So I think that's pretty good for how it's just sitting on her there. Okay, and now I'm gonna go into kind of the lapel area. I'm actually gonna hide the layer that I have labeled as lapel and just focus on the suit itself. We're gonna get that wrapping on her shoulders and stuff. Properly joined in the middle here. I should hide the flower too. You can see I'm paring down a lot of the detail here while I figure out how things are actually sitting. And that's pretty normal. This arm should be a little bit more angled like this. Let's get rid of just some of the excess there, just so it doesn't bother me. Assuming I can find it. Here we go. And I'll connect this arm. That's pretty important. And yeah, I do think it makes more sense to do the suit side first. I kind of wish I had thought about that back before I started on the dress side. I admittedly was a little bit more excited to draw the dress. But the suit is just easier to understand structurally. It has more of her body showing. A lot of the dress is kind of hidden behind, you know, all of this and that kind of thing, and these big fluffy shoulder pads and all that. Whereas I have a lot more things showing here. So this is just easier to understand structurally. What do suit colors look like? I don't actually remember. So I'm gonna go look it up. What do they look like? Actually, the color can vary quite a bit, can't it? I don't actually know if I want it to be this kind of color on the red part. It's what came to mind because I think that's what a lot of modern suits do. But I'm not trying to draw a modern suit. I want it to be somewhat fantasy Victorian. Okay. But I think I have a good idea of how this wraps around. It's all very casual, so I think this is fine. Let's see, how much of this should be open? I don't like this shape. I'm gonna let it open a little bit more like this. Hanging off the shoulders a little bit more feminine there. Okay, let's get her chest in the correct place here. So for that, I need a better idea of where it currently is. So I'm gonna put down some shadows on the suit part. Currently, I feel like it is structured like this. And that is very much not right. Look how low down that is. That's way too low. Let's push this up. I'll mess up her arms a bit. That's fine. You know what? I don't even need to liquefy this. I'm just gonna put the shadow where I think it should be. And I will just draw everything else around it. That's fine. Okay, this part is a bit too thick there. We'll just kind of pull that in. This part should definitely come a little further in. And we'll start getting this all a little bit more proportionate. You know what? I'm actually just going to erase the trim where the... No, I don't need to erase it. I can just hide this. I do think the trim has some structural things that are helpful to me, but I'm not using them correctly right now, so I'm going to hide it for a little while. Well, I kind of feel out what I want here. Let's go ahead and put this on the shirt, too. Okay. So here we go. Just gonna feel out where that chest is. After that, After that, I can start kind of feeling out the arms. Right now they're feeling a little long. Kind of want her to feel a little bit rounder. Let's get some of that roundness in here. That's also why I had this open up a little bit more. I thought it would make her feel a little bit more round. And, you know, for girls, that's actually pretty important. Girls are meant to be soft. They can be strong, but they should also be a little bit soft. And they do better with rounder shapes. The only reason I draw things as cubic as I do is just because I have an easier time seeing things in cubes. That is just how my brain sees the world. This arm, I think, will look a little bit better once I have proper trim and stuff, so I'm not going to worry about it. As long as I can see, it's fine. And right now, I can see. Alright, let's let this kind of sit on her chest a little bit. I think this looks pretty alright. They're not all completely in the right spot yet, the shadows, that is. I think they're pretty close. Feeling out shapes. Slowly but surely. And at the very least, a lot of what I have here is very much making sense to me. So we got the waistline right about here. So this is where I want things to kind of come together. Waist will be a little bit straighter. Want her to be a little bit rounder out there. There we go. Everything's getting a little bit lost in the arms over here, but I think I can see well enough that it's still okay. I'll have to think about that every time I look over there, but right now I think it's okay. Arms still feeling a little bit. I'm actually going to get rid of the arm on her hip for just a little bit. And I want to figure out where the hips are. So this is still not a gender swap, so she's still going to have the feminine figure. I think I will hide the suit skirt just a little bit here. And I will let the suit part just kind of stick out around her waistline there. I don't know, her torso still feels a little bit long. If this is like the waist, that should be higher. That belt is actually going to be very useful for defining where it is. Where did I put it? There it is. So I think her waist should actually be more like right there. I'm going to hide those buttons. So I think her waist should be a little bit more right about here. And I am going to define the suit accordingly. I'm not too worried about this part sticking out because it's going to turn into that big frilly skirt thing. And that is... well, it's going to define a lot of things. And I'm realizing I'm probably going to have to make a lot of things bigger here. So yeah, I think making the head bigger is a bit unavoidable at this point, because right now her legs are, like, ridiculously long, and I mean, to be fair, her legs are ridiculously long. There are limits. She's not quite crony. But for now, I'll leave it. I'll start feeling out the proportions here, and you know what? I'm gonna get rid of the tails on the suit entirely. I can add them back later. I'll just get those high-waisted pants in there. You know what? The cape is also kind of in the way here, so let's hide that for now. There we go. We're just gonna bring everything down to the most basic details here. And in fact, I think I'm actually gonna turn the window back on, because while I'm focused on her body, like, it's black, so this actually makes it a little bit easier to see. Okay. Now that all the design is figured out, now that I have a general idea of the pose, now that I'm happy with where the face is going, it's time to catch the body up a little bit. I always have to refine the face quite a bit before I can feel comfortable with it. My god, those are some long legs. Okay. I'm gonna shrink them down into where I think they should be. So if it was proportionate, I think it should be somewhere around here. Maybe slightly longer. She does have pretty long legs. And you know what? I am going to operate under this assumption right now. It's gonna look weird for a bit. I'm not gonna refine things too hard. But I'm just gonna get the basics down, and then if I still like it next time, I'm going to adjust the composition of everything accordingly. And I'm gonna make sure that she is sized appropriately. And then I'll just be sad and, you know, mirror things back over to the side. And we'll go from there. I think I'll still finish the head on this side, just because I'm used to drawing it at this angle, and trying to switch sides I think would confuse me. So, I'll still finish the head over here. Swap it back over here. Do all the things. Be very confused on how I'm going to handle the hair here. You know, it's all good. It's alright, I can figure. I do wish I kind of had started with this side, though. It would have made my life a lot easier, but I think she's looking pretty okay. I think I want her hips to be a little bit more prominent, though, so let's stick that out just a bit more. Alright, I have the legs separated, so I should respect that. We're gonna let those hips stick out a little bit more strongly. But I think this is looking pretty good. I do like the design, and I like the way the overall silhouette is working out. It makes me happy. But see, this is exactly why I didn't want to get into just shading the eyes and everything yet. It wasn't time. And I'm glad I didn't, because I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to totally change the size of everything. Life is hard. That's alright. It is so much more important that I get things where I want them to. And let's see, I think this knee might be a little bit low. I think the length of the leg is fine, but I do think the knee needs to be just a little bit higher. Okay. And she has a decently sized thighs. They're not massive, but they're not exactly small either. So I'll try to get that shape well. And I think that the way I have the suit colored right now is making the waist of the pants look higher than they should. So I'm gonna go ahead and just darken that entire spot, make it clear where the waist is. Maybe I should put the belt on top of the suit, even though it's actually gonna go underneath. I'll do it for now. This will eventually go underneath, but it will help me figure out angles and stuff for the time being. This is wrapping around her waist. So, you know, it's a little bit high-waisted, but not that much. I do think her hips are going this direction. Shoulders this way, hips that way. Nice little bit of contrapposto. Makes the pose a little bit more dynamic. Alright. But there we go. That'll give me a good understanding of where her waist is. I think the legs are looking pretty alright there. It might be a little bit long still. Especially like around here. I'll go ahead and just kind of define where the ankles are. I'm not going to draw any feet. I never planned to draw any feet for this one. Oh, we'll let her fly there for a bit. She doesn't need feet when you're flying. It's okay. Blah, blah, blah. Alright. Okay, so... yeah, so far so good. Am I satisfied with how general hips are? I don't like this transition, it's way too pointy. Let's smooth it just a bit. I think I want it to be go out just a little bit more, actually. Not like that, but... it's fine. There we go. And I think that's nice and heart-shaped. It's about the same width as her shoulders, which I think is accurate. So that seems pretty good. Upper body seems okay. Maybe not here. And with that, I can start adding back in certain details, especially the ones that I think will help me figure out further proportion and whatnot. Arm is long, I think. Easy to fix. You just lift this up a little bit and all is well. There we go. No problem. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put the buttons back on. And the reason is because that is a good way to show me where the center of everything is. And I know that this will start coming down this way. Yep, that seems pretty good. Let's get the lapels back on. I know I have a layer for it. They are completely wrong, so I'm just gonna delete them and start over. Hold on, I gotta cough. God, I can't wait until I'm back at 100%, then I don't have to do this anymore. And just focus on drawing, and it'll be wonderful. Alright. You know what? I want to put the shadow on the neck a little more clearly. There we go. Just make everything a little bit easier to see there. But yeah, I think she's looking a little bit more proportionate now. So I can start gradually adding in all the details again. Sounds good to me. Feeling a bit unusually tired today, so I might be a bit out of juice for actual getting drawing stuff done. But I'll try to do a little bit more here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so I don't have these buttons like defined at all, but that's fine. They're just going to be floral. Let's get her hand back on. I think that'll be a good one to do now. Yeah, and then we can make this arm not look quite so long. Which, once again, pretty easy to do. You just push it in a little bit. Pull this up a little bit. There we go. I'll move the hand accordingly. It'll go up a little bit higher here. But I'm just getting the general gist of the arm itself first. Let's see, still feels a little bit long, so let's push it up just a little bit more. That feels better. Now I can get the hand on. Great. There we go, like right on the big part of her hip. Okay, so I think that's about right. Maybe the arm needs to come out just a little bit. Oh yeah, that feels okay. This arm feels a little bit thin, but I don't think I really want to fix it right now. But in terms of posing, I think that's about what I want. The neck doesn't feel quite right still. Let's go take a look at that. I want it to look a little bit more relaxed. So I'm gonna kind of connect it with her head a little bit more. Okay, that will affect the collar I have drawn here. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is the color I want. That's a design question. I will worry about those design questions later. Right now, I want to focus on proportions. Okay, but I think this is a pretty good start. I think it's kind of showing where everything will go. Let's see, do I want to attempt the skirty part? Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead. I think I can do it. So I'll connect this up into her waist. But I think that's about all I gotta do. Just gonna head up into the waist. And then I have the back drawn here. That's more cape stuff. I only care about these two layers, and they will go right about here. I think it being about knee length is still appropriate, so there we go. I want to try to bring back some of the other details. I think I'll hold off on that one for now. That's for the neck there. The cape. I can probably do the cape now. This will drape a little bit more like this, and her shoulders a little bit further this way. I'm not quite sure how I wanted to connect just yet. I'm not going to think about it. I just want to make sure that her shoulders are defined well. Nothing wishy-washy here. Okay. These I'll bring up just a little, but otherwise, you know, I think they look pretty okay. It's loose, but it's the stage that I'm in. Loose is fine at this stage. I think I do want another bit kind of... You know what? I want to rotate this a bit. I have a vision. Her arm is tilted a little further this way. So I kind of want this to kind of stick out like that, and then we'll just have another bit right down there. Kind of the same down here, where there's a little bit at the bottom. Something like that. Let's see. Gotta kind of push those up a bit. But there we go, something like that. And... oh god, the trim is just wrong everywhere, so I'm not going to turn that on right now. I'm just going to have to redraw that from scratch, I think. But I can at least kind of get the cape on. Let's see, I think I said I wanted the cape to be roughly shin length. So that would actually bring it down to about there. So I got to adjust that accordingly. I need to keep everything proportionate. So that this way, once I increase the size of everything, it'll be all good. And it looks like I have a little bit of body residue sticking out in her armpit there. Definitely no good. Gotta get rid of all that, and I'm not sure what that is. Do I have an arm layer or something? I think I do. Yeah. That's probably from here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And I think that's all of the detail I want to do for now. I guess I'll put the flower back on. Now I think should be about there, and I don't know. There. I'll have to redraw parts of that to make that look nice, but this is fine for now. And I think that's pretty okay. We'll see how I feel about the proportions next time. I don't know what it is today, but for some reason, my body is just kind of saying no. So I think I might actually just kind of leave it there. And I'll see how I feel about the proportions on this side next time. I'll see how I feel about facial proportions over here next time. I'll only focus on the face here. And then once I feel like I have everything proportionate here, I can fix the compositions, that this way she's taken up as much of the screen as I want. I might have to adjust this arm a bit in order for her to fit, but, you know, very doable. And then I can start translating things over here, and, you know, I'll figure out which side gets the strong rendering first. But I think this is actually pretty good progress. I think she's looking a lot better. I mean, even if you just look at this side, which I only adjusted a little bit to, I don't know, get some of these things in the right place. She's still looking a little thick around the middle here, for example, and various other things. But when I look at the difference, this side is starting to look very comprehensible. I can kind of tell where certain parts of her body are in all this, and with any luck, I can kind of refine that further next time, and I don't know, start kind of pushing all this to being finished. I guess as it stands, since I'm going to be having to do a lot of work with getting the body in frame here, I guess I shouldn't finish the head next time. I'm going to have to make sure that this body's looking good, and that the head is the right size relative to it, so yeah, I guess I'm probably not going to finish the face next time. We're going to have to delay that. I'm a little bit sad. am, but I really like where this is going. I really, really do like these outfits. I think they look nice. I like what I did with them. The mask doesn't look like anything yet, but trust me, I have ideas. Gotta have some nice flowery stuff. It's gotta be good. So I have that about half designed in my head. Have the basics down there. So I think next time is gonna be probably mostly body proportions, assuming I'm happy with the face, which, you know, right now I still think it looks pretty good. Maybe the ear is still a little bit big, but it's always hard to tell when you're dealing with big knife ears like this. But yeah, I think that's about all I want to do this time. I'm still feeling a little bit tired and sick, so I think I might just end a little bit early today. Gotta take it easy this week. Well, here's hoping that, you know, next week, everything's just a little bit better. So I do think that I'll just end off here for today. I'm not even going to turn on the layers. I think just leaving things here is fine. This way I can just focus on proportions if I look at it again. But yeah, I think I'll go ahead and stop here. Sorry, I've been a bit low-key lately. I have been feeling my best. I was actually feeling pretty decent yesterday, so I'm a little bit sad that I'm doing a little bit worse today. I'm not sure what's up with that. Slept through my alarm and a bunch of other things. I guess it's true, I didn't nap yesterday. So I'm wondering if that contributed to it. My body still needs extra sleep. Not sure, but nonetheless, thank you all for coming, and, you know, thank you for bearing with me while I'm still a little bit under the weather. And I hope you are able to make something wonderful today. Regardless of how you feel, go do all the wonderful things. I will see you all tomorrow.